All of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror and there's a Ferrari behind me. Then I punch it and he punches it. God, man, I was standing still. I'm not driving this fake Ferrari. Went to Newport Beach Ferrari, saw this yellow 488 with Vossen wheels lowered. I said, give me that car, man. And that was like my first legit Ferrari.
Why don't we just get into what Ferraris do you currently own? Welcome to the Ed Fernandez Show. I'm Tom Roussel, and across from me, the man,
Ed Fernandez.
Ed Fernandez. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Let's go.
Ed, let's start. It's a wild Friday. You started your day again.
3:30 in the morning, man.
3:30 in the morning.
3:30.
Walk us through your morning a little bit.
Jesus Lord.
Not that you want to relive it, but it's a funny story
God.
to me, at least.
Yeah. So 3:30 in the morning, this guy Avor, who's right here, is whining.
Yep.
That means he's got to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I go out and take him to the bathroom at 3:30 in the morning. Okay. But I remember him walking around the house, and normally when he walks around the house, that's not good news. So I took the flashlight and I looked at the area that he makes accidents, and there was a huge accident. So I don't know what's wrong. He got the runs or something. But I was picking up poop and cleaning carpet at 4 o'clock in the morning. It sucked.
After the accidents, after your house is falling apart, you got to move some cars, right? Because we're talking about cars today.
So I'm going to the Ferrari thing tomorrow, right? Cars and Coffee at Newport Beach Ferrari. So I had to go to my storage before I came here, right? And look, it's a good problem to have. Had to move the GT4 RS, had to move the 812 Superfast and Largo, had to move the Maybach, right? And then I had to park the Pista. Then I had to put the Maybach back, had to pull out the 812, and then I had to put the Porsche back, and now I'm here.
Like you said, it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have.
Hey, one day you're going to have, as Nyla, your daughter said earlier, Batman's garage where you could just pull it all.
Then I'll have more problems because I'm buying more cars. So it's like you got to just buy a warehouse, I guess.
Sometimes you say you're stopping buying cars, but then you buy another car. So I'm not sure.
No, I don't know.
Not that I don't believe you, because I trust you.
I don't know, man. I want a GT3 RS. Again, it's not God's timing.
Yep.
But I'm waiting for God's timing because that car is supposed to be sick.
Yeah, I remember you had one on order.
I did, and I had to cancel it.
Yeah.
Because it was like this. God's timing was like this. It was off. So I can't kind of go against God's timing.
So we're talking about not only cars, but exotic cars.
Yep.
And we're talking about edifying exotic cars. What does edifying mean?
Taking the an F8, Spider that sounds like a Prius when you buy it from Ferrari. No offense, Ferrari, but yeah, I am meant to be offensive. And modifying it or edifying it to sound the way it's supposed to sound.
Right.
And look like completely different than anybody else's cars out there.
Right. We're going to get in. Well, first of all, I've had a couple Harleys, and Harleys.
I didn't know you had Harleys.
I did, yeah.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't know that.
I need some more, but we'll get into that another episode.
Yeah,
but
Keith ain't gonna let that happen.
Oh, she will actually. They come from the factory now, all quiet. And like a Harley is like for it. So that's what it reminds me of. These F8s.
Why?
I don't know.
What do you mean quiet?
Because doctors and dentists are riding them, and not like it's everyone.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's horrible.
I know it's horrible. So that just reminded me of that's
Stinking
digressing.
California.
But we're gonna talk about all your cars, but let's talk about the beginning, man.
Okay.
What was your first car?
It was a Toyota 1976 pickup truck. It was, I don't know if it was supposed to be blue or it was supposed to be black, but the paint was all oxidized.
Yeah.
So it was like navy blue with watermelon tires on it.
Describe watermelon tires for the viewers.
Well,
that's a term that.
What does a watermelon feel like?
It's smooth.
I had no tread on those tires, so they were like watermelons.
You told me in the past that you saw it was some kind of Mercedes, I think an E-Class or something. That
Yes.
I was like, what was the first car that you're like, that's a nice car?
Yes.
Growing up, and it was some kind of Mercedes.
It was like, the lowest level Mercedes, now that I know what Mercedes are.
Yeah.
But it was like purple rain purple.
Yeah.
With gold wheels, and it was lowered, and it was spinning on that little spinner or whatever.
Oh, God.
And I think I was like 22, 23. I was like, wow, man, if I can roll in that. This was before I saved.
You're thinking about ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a sick car. And I was like, wow, I can't afford that thing.
Yeah. You could still see Dennis Rodman driving around a purple, I think, 90s Mercedes with flames around Newport. He still drives around.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so purple.
Maybe not recently, but I've
Purple
seen,
with flames.
Yes.
That's Dennis Rodman.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to look out for him. All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, and he will not be shy. He wants you to buy him a drink. I say that from experience, but what would you say your first nice car was?
It was a 740i BMW, and I traded it because I had a Ford Taurus.
Oof. And those were like
horrible.
Man, when I was growing up and you had to drive a Ford Taurus,
it was brand new, but it was not a BMW. And this BMW was old. So I traded a new car for an old Beamer.
Oh, got it.
Right? The long, the old ones, right? But man, it drove nice. I was like, wow. And forever, dude, I've been a Beamer guy. So I've had 750s, I've had 5 Series, I've had M8 competitions.
Yeah.
And I just got burned out on BMW. Hey, they're nice cars, 640 horse. But then I went into Porsches.
Real cars.
Yes.
That was a little bit of a trick question because you had an RX-7.
Right.
And that wasn't nice maybe to you
the
at
rotary
the time.
thing.
Yeah. But now those are worth some money.
Really?
Yeah, the tuner community loves them. So
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The rotary engine
yes.
RX-7s?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That thing would probably be worth like $30K today.
Really?
Yeah, just like not great condition or anything.
Wow. Yeah. I shouldn't have sold it.
Yeah, but you were like,
let's get this thing
out of here. So I remember the day, my wife who used to work here, we mentioned Kiva. Shout out Kiva, I love you. And she used to work here. She was your right-hand woman. And she said, did Dad buy a Ferrari? And I was like, he didn't talk to me about this. I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah, I think because she sat right outside your office.
Right,
and,
she can hear me.
You're not a quiet dude.
Yeah.
Your voice travels.
Yep.
So, walk me through that. How did you go about buying a Ferrari?
So Ruth, my wife, she said, I had a dream and I saw you in a Ferrari. And I was like, what? So my former watch guy had a California convertible, red, with tan interior. And I didn't know anything about Ferraris. I had no idea this was entry-level Ferrari, right? So I bought it off him, right? So that was my first Ferrari. But I quickly realized, to me, that wasn't the legit Ferrari.
And you got a good story about quickly realizing it.
Man, Ruth and I were going down Newport Coast.
Yep.
Anybody who knows, going to Javier's, we were going down, right? You could see the ocean.
Beautiful
right?
drive.
I was all the way in lane number 1.
Yep.
All of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a Ferrari behind me. But I didn't know what kind of Ferrari. It was red, right? Now I know what it is. It's a 488, right? And I'm like, oh, this guy, right? So I'm driving, and this guy gets into the middle lane, right? And I punch it, and he punches it. And man, that guy, I was standing still. Right. I was like, what the heck is this? And it looked cool. The back was all beefy. I was like, what the heck is that? So, man, I was like, oh, nah. Made a right-hand turn on PCH, right, from Newport Coast Drive. We going to Javier's later. Went to Newport Beach Ferrari. Saw this yellow 488 with Vossen wheels lowered with an exhaust on it. It was loud. I said, give me that car, man. And that was like my first legit Ferrari.
It's a crazy story.
I was like,
because you were like, I'm not spending one more minute being the guy that's getting passed.
Dude, I'm not driving this fake Ferrari.
Yeah, you thought it was like, oh, a fellow Ferrari. What's up? You thought it was gonna be a what's up, but it was like,
no, wow, just like it was horrible. No offense to the California owners, but you got to step up your game.
Everybody's got their taste, but
yeah.
it's a well-known thing that it's like the entry level.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we had Danny on from Happy Jewelers. He talked about how hard it is to buy watches, right?
Yeah.
You can't just go into a store and be like, I want that watch.
Right.
Ferrari's a little similar to that, right? Can you explain that process?
It is. So, I mean, there are guys out there that spec cars. And so what speccing means is basically you choose the color of the car, the interior of the car, all the features of the car, and you spend time doing that. But sometimes some of these guys won't take delivery. And so what Ferrari requires, though, in order to do that, you had to get an allocation. In order to get an allocation, you had to build a profile. And that profile means I bought this car, this car, this car, this car, this car. Oh, okay. Well, then you deserve this allocation. And sometimes, you can go into Newport Beach Ferrari and buy a car. Sometimes they're pre-owned, and sometimes it's guys that didn't take the allocation and gave it to Ferrari on consignment to sell. But if you want to design your own car, there ain't no way you walking in and going, let me do that. You got to actually create a profile, and profiles are created by buying cars from these guys.
Right. So when you see the brochures and the ads and all these things of the new Ferrari coming out, like,
you ain't getting one.
You're not getting one.
No.
You can't.
No. It's no way.
You could get it on the aftermarket, and what I mean.
So MSRP is like, let's say MSRP, like I've got a SF90 Spider, right, on order. I've been waiting for it since March of 2021, and I haven't gotten it yet.
What's the deal, man?
It's like, dude, you guys go public, and now you guys are cheese balls. I've been waiting forever.
Yeah.
Right? But I spec'd it, and it was like $700,000, right? $720,000. I think once I get it, it'll be worth maybe $900,000, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe more, because they're very hard to get. Production is very limited. Hence, I've been waiting almost 3 years come March.
Right.
Right. So someone who doesn't want to wait is going to pay that extra money. But you can't just, I can't just sell it to you. I got to give it to Newport Beach Ferrari. Newport Beach Ferrari is going to get a little piece. And then my profile is not damaged. But if I just go, I want to sell you my car, and they find out,
blacklisted,
you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
So what you were saying is people don't have to wait. They can spend the more money, but they can't spec it out that way.
No.
They have to get whatever's, because there's a lot of options, right?
Right. And speccing is hard, man. I mean, you got to be an artist.
Right. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that later in the show. But why don't we just get into what Ferraris do you currently own?
So I have an F8 Spider, Ferrucco red, bronze wheels. It's nice. I have a 488 Pista.
My favorite.
Right. And then I have an 812 Superfast with an Largo kit on it.
One of how
One
many?
of 18.
Of
One
18.
of 18. I was almost thinking about selling it. I was talking to Josh from Bowdoin, and then he showed me some video, and I'm like, I'm not selling it. I'm out of my mind. I'll just forget it. I'm not selling it.
We'll put a pause on that. You don't need to. I don't want you to regret anything.
No,
you
if I sold it, it ain't
going
to be someone in Orange County or LA. You got to be out of a different state, because I don't want to see that car rolling around and then me regretting it.
You don't want to see an edified car out on the street.
But right now I'm not selling.
Okay. So what was you got two on order too.
I forgot the name of it. It's the SUV.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce the stinking name. And then I have the SF90 that I'm still waiting on.
Yeah.
SUV I've only been waiting for 10 months, so probably got another 2 years.
Right.
Right. Oh, and then I have the new V12 Lamborghini. That ain't going to be until 2025, 2026. It's crazy.
Do you just put it in because you're like, oh, I'll figure it out later?
Yeah, you just give them the money and you're like,
And
okay,
you're like,
well, it's not gonna arrive till stinking 3 years from
because
now.
people are gonna want it anyway. So it's like no headache if you're like, nah, I don't.
Because
want it
it's a
anymore.
nice car,
Right?
And you know, it's a V12, dual clutch, right? So why not?
Right. So Ferrari, you had your California. You bought a 488. You had a different California as well, right?
Yeah, I had a yellow California. It was more upgrade-ish, but I had to get rid of those cars.
Right. What was the next type of exotic that you bought?
Porsche.
Okay.
So I got rid of my M8 competition,
Right.
as my daily.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about
Right.
that's thousands of people's dream car right there. You know what I mean? That was like I'll just get
I got
two
rid of
those.
it because I was just tired of BMW, and
His and
everybody kept
hers.
telling me, especially Josh from Bowdoin, he's like, dude, you got to get a Porsche, you got to get a Porsche. And so I got a 911 Turbo S, right? And that car is a rocket ship, man. I got that. Then I went and got a GT2 RS. That car is a rocket ship. Then I got my wife, what is it? A GT4 RS, right? Which is like hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
So those were, and then I broke down and bought a stinking STO and a
Lambo.
Urus. Lambo, yeah, I got an STO.
You used to say
with a
I'm
supercharger.
Right. You used to say I'm never gonna buy a Lambo, and then sure enough, I see one sitting.
It was too slow.
Side.
It was like 640 horse. I'm like, wait a minute. This feels like my competition.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to put a supercharger in it.
What would you say about? Because I want to talk about the edifying a little bit later.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What would you say? What type of person drives a Ferrari versus a Porsche versus?
Ferrari is more of a classic.
Yeah.
Right? So if you buy a Ferrari, you're kind of normally you're older, 40s, 50s, you know. Lamborghinis are for the younger guys, right? They like these SVJs, single clutch, with this whatever they do to the exhaust sounds like tools are falling out of the back of their trunk, right? Horrible, pop, 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 pop.
Do you remember those toys where you would push it down and all the balls would be popping for babies? You know? That's what it sounds
That's
like.
what it sounds like, right? So the younger guys like that. They like the McLarens. And then, you know, everyone drives Porsche. The older guys, the younger guys. Porsches are just universal.
Yeah. And what about the McLarens?
McLarens are younger guys, cars. I don't like the McLarens. They're very, very fast, but they're built, you know, so, you know, I'm a partner at Bowdoin, right? And so Josh always tells me, dude, don't get a McLaren because, you know, they take them apart and they're made, you know, they're put together with epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you try to put together with epoxy, you're ending up with rattles and shakes and stuff like that. So I'm good.
Yeah, check out that episode with Josh too. It was funny. You guys were sipping on tequila and just bantering, and I thought it was a laugh. What would you say? You get in each of these cars. How does it kind of differ for somebody that's never been in one of these cars? What can you? And I know even your F8 is different than your Pista, but in general, what would you say the difference between hopping in a Ferrari versus your Porsche versus your Lambo?
You know, that's a hard question because the Ferrari, you know, if you don't modify it, I understand why you have the enthusiasts that leave their Ferraris, you know, original.
Yeah.
Because they put billions of dollars into technology to build these cars, right? Once you modify it and put different wheels on it, it changes the ride and things like that. But I think they're all so different. I mean, I could tell you my favorite driving car is the Porsche. Hands down. I never thought I would say that. But for some reason, that German technology, I mean, those guys know what they're doing, and those cars are amazing to drive. Now, as far as like, ooh, look at me, right? That's the Ferrari, that's the Lamborghini, that's the Bugatti, the Pagani, the Koenigsegg, right? And those are hypercars, right?
Right.
Which, unfortunately, I would love to have a hypercar, but I drive my cars.
Right.
I have thousands of miles on my car, so you can't buy a Bugatti Chiron and put 3,000 miles on it. You can and lose your butt, right? Or some kind of Pagani. Pagani's really like art, right?
Yeah.
That's something you're going to put on your wall. So, I choose not to buy those cars just because I drive them so much. So I stick with the exotics.
Your 911 Turbo is your daily driver, right?
It is, yes.
And would you recommend that as a daily driver to people? I mean, people that, obviously it's a lot of money, but I'm saying it's a rocket ship, but you're dailying it and it's comfortable enough to do so, right?
Yeah, because, it's, that's the difference between a 911 the Turbo S and a GT2 RS. GT2 RS, track car, very stiff, big giant wing, looks super cool. But the Turbo S, right, very fast, heavy, but more luxurious, more comfort, right? So you get kind of the race feel with comfort.
Right.
It's very similar to the F8.
Mm-hmm.
The race feel with comfort, where the Pista is very stiff, transmission is different, the gear ratios are different, right? Two different cars.
Right. What you were saying about flashy on the Ferrari Lambo versus Porsche, if people don't know what the difference is, they don't know these cars are 400,000 or 500,000 as you drive them. They don't know, but they know you. They know when you're coming because all your cars are loud. But I'm saying it can blend in with just a 911.
Yeah. Then the 911 just blends in, but again, it's edified.
Yeah.
Right, lowered with HRE wheels, and it does have a tune, and it does have exhaust on it. It is loud, so you couldn't take it to the grocery store, right?
You don't take your cars to the grocery store.
No, I have
right?
a Ford Raptor for that.
Right.
Right.
With HREs on it, all kinds of stuff. It's like you put 50K in that.
Yeah, that's like that. That's just like my dog car.
Right. So on the other end of the spectrum, let's talk about the comfort. Let's talk about the luxury. Let's talk about what you have on that side.
So we have a Rolls Royce Ghost black badge. It's called Ice Gray. It's one of 10 colors in the world, with mandarin orange interior with all the carbon fiber and some nice wheels on it. So Ruth loves that car.
Right.
Then I have the Maybach, right? And as far as the Maybach is concerned, it's got Vossen wheels. We lowered it, and we paint matched all the chrome. So we took off all the chrome, right? That car is sick. I love that car. I think that's my favorite, more luxury car, because it has just really cool technology in it. But they're both different, right? You drive a Rolls, and you've got this different feel of luxury with handcrafted materials. Mm-hmm. Then you drive the Maybach, you've got this luxury, but you've got it with technology. So it's, again, two different kind of atmospheres when you drive those cars.
Right. It's like the Rolls is like, I feel like you're in England and everything's hand carved and it's nice old money style.
Yeah.
And then when I get in your Maybach, it's like I'm in the movie Tron. There's lights everywhere. It's like, yeah. It's and what you did to that, by the way, made it look like stock. Those look like a grandpa should be driven around in it.
That.
You know what I mean?
I'm not doing that.
But yours looks like serious. Like
I'm not doing that. We did that with the Rolls too.
Yeah.
I took all that chrome off and we paint matched everything.
Right.
I'm not driving a car looking like an old man. Hey, I'm sure we're going to show some pictures, right?
Oh, yeah. There's going to be pictures and video and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're going to get to see it.
Justin and Darian going to hook it up over here.
You guys are going to get to see all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. So you'll see exactly. But let's get into the modifications. What's the first thing you do to edify your cars?
It does not come to my house.
Okay. They don't even make it to your house.
Do not deliver this car to my house.
Okay.
I am not driving it.
Okay.
It goes to Bowden.
And let's talk about Bowden.
Yeah.
You talked about your 488. There was a B on the exhaust.
Oh,
How did you start that relationship for those that didn't see the...
So I got this yellow 488, right? And everywhere I went, this guy would come out and say, hey, that's my car.
Yeah.
Right? Because I bought it pre-owned, right? Because it was so loud and obnoxious. But I was kind of getting annoyed, right? Everywhere I went, Redo, Mastros, Javier's, this dude was there.
Yep.
I said, man, I went to my watch guy, and I didn't know who Bowden was, and he looked at the logo on the exhaust. He goes, oh, that's Bowden. I was like, what the heck is Bowden? So I looked him up. So I go to Bowden, and Josh, I think he was in Europe. But when he came back, I said, dude, you got to redo all this stuff, dude. Take all this crap out, change the noise, change the wheels. And so we wrapped it.
Yeah.
And we're going to see some videos on that.
Yeah.
It didn't even, I wish I'd have kept that car, man, because it was sick.
Yep.
I might do it again. But that's how I met Bowden and started realizing I didn't know anything, right? I didn't know what to do, how to do it. Josh kind of like walked me through, held my hand. Now I kind of, I kind of know what's going on.
Right. So it goes to Bowden. What do you say? Hey, Josh, I got another car coming to you. You better be there for the delivery. What's next?
Well, so then we start picking wheels. We start PPF in it. We want to protect the paint from rock chips and things like that. So we start figuring out what we want to do with the car, what we want to look like. And I don't want my car to look like anyone else's car out there. So he knows, like, I want to go to the top, right?
And then not only looks, but you usually put exhaust and a tune on it too, right?
That's exactly right. Look, and I think this guy has to go to the bathroom, man.
Well, let's have him go to the bathroom if you
Hey,
want. We'll read.
Darian, or someone got to take him to the bathroom, man, because he's about to go blowing it up in here.
And this ain't a small dog. Let's have a picture
like
of Avor
this,
show
man.
up right now.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like this, dude. I've got to have a shovel and 2 hands. It's nasty.
Oh,
now he's
man.
about to jack up my show.
We'd have to reschedule this.
And we have to reshoot this thing and all that. Sorry, man.
So, exhaust and tune.
Yeah.
Dude, how much power are we gaining from this kind of stuff?
About 150 to 200 horse.
And these are already putting up insane numbers.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like you can't even use that kind of power really. But it does create a just really unique sound, right?
Yeah.
It gurgles and pops, right? I mean, it's just sick. And so that's why I do it. I really, when I first got these cars, I was just like, there was no such thing as mortality. But then, I see these guys don't warm up their tires, right? They pick up their brand new cars,
revving
boom,
yeah.
and crash. I'm not that guy, dude. I'm 55 years old. I want to live a long time.
Right.
So, I'm cruising now, but it sounds good.
Right. I know it's a hard question to answer. What would you say your fastest car is? And it doesn't have to be one because I know they're different.
But that's like, the question is it on a drag race or on a track?
One of each. Let's answer both those questions.
I would say the STO is probably going to be the fastest on the track. Maybe has too much power though, because it's like 840 horse, right? So 640 horse could have done it, right, on a track, right? But I put the supercharger on it, so maybe a little too much power for the track.
Yeah.
As far as a straightaway, man, I would probably say maybe the 911 Turbo S, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
I
mean, those are already one of the fastest cars on the road without your edifications.
That thing is fast, dude. I mean, you're going to jail with that. I mean, all those cars, you're going to jail.
I don't even ask you. Like, you get pulled over often when you're coming back from down Newport Coast, when you're coming back from lunch?
No, because I don't speed, right? So 80, 82 miles per hour. But, I mean, I remember one time getting pulled over at 120.
Oof.
In the pista.
What'd they say?
He noticed the Bowden thing in the back. He was a customer.
Oh, thank
He knew
God.
Josh.
Because that's like...
He knew Josh. He called Josh right away. He goes, hey, man, do you know this guy driving a red pista? He goes, oh, yeah, he's like a brother to me. Guy stinking let me go with a warning.
Oh, my.
I could have got my license suspended for 6 months. They would have towed my car. I'd have been jacked.
You could be wearing bracelets for that.
And I'm a CCW carrier, right? So it was big problems. So now I'm like, okay, I can't do that no more. I'm gonna get in big trouble. I can't do that.
Well, let's talk about the exact opposite of loud cars. What do you think of electric cars?
Are you kidding me? You mean the tree hugger car?
Didn't Ruth have a Lucid on order at one point or something?
We canceled that order.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was gonna say because.
We canceled that order, man. It's thinking, I live in California. Now they want to make all the cars like quiet. Right. They ain't got the infrastructure to stinking charge all these cars.
Yeah.
Right. You got these poor little kids, slaves, stinking digging holes to get the lithium.
Yeah.
And where the hell are we going to put all these batteries when they die?
Right.
Yeah, yet we're saving their world.
Yep.
It's supposed to die, stupid.
That was
Jesus.
I'm opening a can of worms here.
I mean,
it could have been like, no, I like hearing the sound.
Look, they have the Porsche that's electric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put it on sport.
Yeah.
And through the speakers, the engine comes on.
Yeah.
So you got this fake engine sound in the speakers to drive an electric car.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make any sense? Doesn't make no sense. Just get the car that sounds like good.
Yeah.
I'm not an electric car guy.
Look,
and I always get raced by Teslas all the time. They all, hey, let's race.
They just say like
let's race.
Let's race.
Yeah.
They're Tesla plaids and stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, that's $100,000. This is $500,000. Okay, I'm not racing.
Yeah, I could have had that if I wanted it. I
could have had 5 of those stupid cars.
I don't want it.
I don't want that thing. Everyone has Teslas. You see them everywhere. It doesn't matter what you do to it. You can lower it. You can make it, matte black. They all look the same.
Right. Right.
It's like herd mentality. Let's all go to get slaughtered.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
I just remember, don't ask Ed about electric cars next time. Well, luckily, Porsche said that they're going to keep the 911 gas powered as long as humanly possible. So thankfully, we have one car company that is looking out for us. And
jeez, that's why I got to get another one. Lord, when's the timing right? Please talk to me soon.
Would you ever buy a manual transmission car?
Probably not, man.
Yeah.
Because I wear different shoes. I don't wear these skinny European shoes for the pedals, right? So there's already
shoes. That's a good way of saying it. I have big, expensive shoes that don't fit on the song.
They don't fit. So
doing the clutch.
Imagine having 3 pedals.
Yeah.
Now I'm like hitting the clutch with hitting the brake.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. What kind of shoes you got on right now?
I don't know. What are these? Hermes? I used to call them Hermes.
Hermes. Well, what's your favorite transmission? What car makes your favorite paddle shift transmission? Whether it be PDK
I like dual clutch, PDK. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like single clutch. Single clutch feels like some kind of diesel truck, right? I don't like. I like it smooth. So that's why I want to get that. I put my down payment on that. I forgot the name of it, but that new Lamborghini V12 because it's the first dual clutch hybrid. Right. That Lamborghini made. Everything else is, the SVJs, the SVs, those are all single clutch. That's why I never got them. They look beautiful and they're super cool.
Yeah.
But I don't like that single clutch stuff.
Yeah. Kind of feels like you're.
Yeah. Even when you're in automatic, it does the same thing.
Right. How do you decide you get in your garage?
Yeah. How do I decide what car to drive?
You're in your garage. You also have a warehouse. How do you decide what car are you driving to work today?
It's really just miles.
Okay.
Right? Like, I haven't driven this one in a couple months.
Got it.
Like, I haven't driven my Maybach in like maybe 6 weeks. I got in it today to move it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, feels like a brand new car.
Yeah.
Like I've never had it before.
Right.
I'm driving the 812 today.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I haven't drove this in so long. You get that new car feel like, wow, the new experience.
Right.
Compared to driving my Turbo S every day, right? So I haven't driven my Turbo S in like a month, right? It's on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't. I've been driving the truck.
Yeah.
Right. And then I just got my GT2 RS back with the HRE carbon wheels on it. I've been driving that. So the Turbo S is on the top rack.
Got it.
So I haven't driven it in a while. So next week I'll drop it and start driving that again.
Okay.
And I'll feel like, oh, wow, I forgot about this car.
Because you and Ruth blessed me with a nice corner office here in our beautiful Irvine office. And I know when you're leaving for the day because I hear you.
You hear me?
So usually it's the Turbo S, but I could be like, oh, that sounds like the STO. I'm guessing all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I hear you go out of the parking structure, down the block, and then get on the freeway.
You'll know it's the Turbo S when all the car alarms go off in the parking lot.
Is that your loudest?
That's the one that sets off.
Oh,
it's the deepest.
Oh gosh,
it's the
decibels
deepest.
are
Yeah,
deep.
the deepest. Shakes the ground, and all the cars. When you hear that, you know it's a Turbo S.
Yeah. How many? We're talking about moving cars around. How many cars is too many cars?
Well, it's never too many cars. It's just like, like I want the GT3 RS, right?
Yeah.
It's the latest and the greatest, but it's supposed to be the best 911 that they've built, right? So, I want that car, right? But would I get a Ferrari competition, right? It's an 812. It's a competition. I won't, because I have an 812 super fast. Why would I do that?
Okay.
Would I get the 296, right? It's the V6. I won't. Very similar to the F8. Mm-hmm. Why would I do that, right? So it's got to be something that's super unique that just makes the collection different.
Would you ever buy a classic?
Nah, man, I don't need oil dripping on top of my other cars.
Yeah,
got put on top and all of a sudden it's dripping on my car. Nah, out of your mind.
Come in here smelling like gasoline and stuff.
Nah. I would like, though, Josh has a GT Carrera. I just don't know. I think I'd do the 918 though.
Okay.
Right, the newer version.
Yeah.
Right, for a hypercar.
Uh-huh.
I would love to get the La Ferrari, but I don't fit.
Yeah.
It looked like the Grinch.
Yeah.
In that little car.
That's
I can't,
tough.
Yeah, the head sticking out. You cannot have your head sticking out above the windshield in a convertible car.
No.
That's the worst thing. You look horrible, by the way. Whoever is doing that, you look horrible. Okay. So there's a lot of cars that I was gonna get a Senna or a P1. I've sat in them. Wasn't really impressed. So it's really, do I want to buy the car to kind of say, look at me and impress other people because I can afford it? Or do I want to buy a car that I'm going to have fun driving? Mm-hmm. I want to buy a car that I'm going to have fun driving. Right. That's why my next car is really the GT3 RS for sure.
Yeah.
Right. I'll take that over the SF90.
Really?
Yeah. The only reason why I'm getting the SF90 is because I want to keep my allocation and I want to keep my profile up.
Yeah.
But, dude, I've been waiting 3 years now. Right? I'm over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I can go and get a GT3 RS, buy somebody else's allocation and have it in 3 months or 4 months.
Right.
Right? And have more fun. Right? But it is what it is, I guess.
Let's divert back to something that I wanted to touch earlier, and you're talking about speccing these cars.
Yeah.
Talk about the difference between speccing a Porsche and the Ferrari.
Porsche, man. Dude, you got hundreds of colors.
It's insane, right?
Hundreds of stitching. It's like a full-time job. And my attention span is very short.
Yeah.
Okay. I can only do 9 holes, maybe.
You said you were going to golf with us.
I don't have no stupid golf clubs.
I'll lend you some money.
Boo. But my point is my attention span is so short.
Right.
To sit there and kind of like, oh, that looks good. To me, I'm losing money because I'm wasting time. So, Josh helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
I say, hey, look, I want a really cool color. I won't buy a white car or a black car. My car has to pop in color. Yeah. So Josh will help me out. But as far as Porsche is concerned versus Ferrari, you have to get into really deep speccing with Ferrari, you got to go to New York. Where they call it tailor-made.
Yeah.
Right? So when you get a tailor-made car, they put a little plaque or a little thing on the back there. It says tailor-made. And that's where they customize paint jobs for you.
Got it.
Right? Customize, the Alcantara leather and all that other stuff. Where if you go to a regular Ferrari dealer, they don't have everything tailor-made does. Right? So if you want a tailor-made car, you're going to pay way more money for that car. You're going to fly to New York. They're going to give you the dog and pony show.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit there for hours speccing a car.
Yeah.
And then you're going to wait 2 years for it.
You going to do that?
I ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? I ain't got time for that.
Right.
I'm waiting 3 years for this car, and my car is supposed to be Lambo orange. You know, my SF90 is going to be Lambo orange.
Yeah.
Dude, 3 years. Really? Come on, man.
What? I just don't want it to come. What if it came and it's like, that's not the color I want.
I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, you get that color wrong, I am not taking that car.
Right.
You know how many times I spec'd that car? 5 times.
And what was the experience of that? That's different, where it was still Porsche. It was like hundreds and thousands of options, right?
Yeah.
But was Ferrari, like, even though it wasn't the tailor-made, was it still like, okay,
they had
white glove service?
I had to
like,
get approved for that color.
Okay.
Right? Because there's only certain factory colors that the dealership has.
Yeah.
And that color, Arnecio or Orancio, whatever it's called, it's the Lambo orange with the pearl and the yellow.
Yeah.
That's not in their wheelhouse when it comes to that, to the dealership. So they had to call Ferrari in Italy and get approval for it.
And do they have like swatches, or you look at the
you get
computer,
swatches, right? And you look and you go, what about this color? And then they have a computer with the rendering and they switch the colors. Yeah. And then they have the leather that you can choose. They have the seats that you can choose. You have the paddle shifters, the steering wheel. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff that you can choose, but it's just overwhelming. It's like you really can't tell what the car is going to look like until you get it.
Right.
Because the color on the screen is not really the true color. And then sometimes, like, you know, at Ferrari, they didn't have that Arancio color, so they just put regular orange.
Yeah.
Right? And so you don't really get to like, oh, that look, you got to guess.
I want to close with this.
Yeah.
You got to pick one of them. What car are you picking? All the rest are gone.
Oh, man, that sucks. If I had to pick one car, it would probably be one of the Porsches. If I had to pick one,
and one of
car.
your 911s, the GT2 RS or the 911 Turbo.
Yep,
yes,
one of the Porsches.
That still wasn't an answer because it's kind of two cars. But I'm not going to make you choose.
Well, good, because it's hard.
Yeah, and then maybe the GT3 RS is the one like. This one's the best of all the worlds, and that's your favorite.
Well, that car is sick now. I mean, because of those wheels, and you know, he's got those Cup 2Rs on there. Yeah. That car is nice.
Yeah. So, this was fun, man.
Well,
I love talking about this stuff.
Well, hopefully you guys get to see a lot of pictures and a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah. You know, comment, you know, subscribe. Hey, and do me a favor. You know, if you got some ideas about some shows and stuff like that, like you want to see, what would you like to talk about? Kind of put them there in the comments, you know, and we'll figure it out and get it done.
Yeah, and after watching the episode, we're gonna have all of the photos and videos. What's your favorite car, Vez? What would you choose of his cars? Because I know mine.
Oh, that's a great idea.
The Pista.
Oh, Pista. You love that Pista.
I love the Pista.
Wow.
The Pista and the 911 Turbo S are my two favorites.
Wow. Okay.
It's not just the car, but it's also like what you've done to it and stuff that. So
got it.
Yeah, like, subscribe. Tell us what you want to see next, guys.
Thank you, man, so much for watching, brother. Have a great weekend. Peace.